Hey, hello there, multiple felon condor Calabasas here, and I got some unbelievable cringe for you, so I gotta give you the context first. We gotta get to the context where relevance, context, subject of conversation is there was a rumor from a reliable leaker that there were plans to make a next-gen Xbox that were really concrete and then went to being up in the air.
And they're saying that there were indeed plans to make a next-generation Xbox console that went from quote-unquote really concrete to being quote-unquote up in the air. And there was the...
Alright, now, in my opinion, this is a non-story. Just because up in the air doesn't really mean anything. There's a lot of, like, that's a very vague thing. That could mean a lot of different things here. That could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And, like, up in the air could mean up in the air for a certain window of opportunity. Maybe there's another other window of opportunity. Maybe it was only up in the air for a little while. Maybe it's been up in the air for a long time. Up in the air means very, very little. Okay? So to me, this is a non-story. That's my 2 cents. Anyways, we get some lovely, as you do, whenever, for those of you who don't know, there's like this common thing in the industry, and you'll actually notice this, and there's seriously psychotic PlayStation fanboys specifically, not Nintendo fanboys, not Xbox fanboys, not some fanboy of some PC game or some PC gaming community, nothing like that. It's really just the PlayStation fanboys that are actually like nuts. Like Digital Foundry has talked about it before, where they'll actually like get threats and a harassment anytime they criticize PlayStation. So like you'll see pretty much any gaming outlet, anytime they criticize PlayStation, they'll be like, oh, but Xbox does bad stuff too, in order to help, like, you know, avoid making the psychos as angry, like making them chill out a little bit. That's like basically, that's one of those like manipulation tactics. I'm not going to go on too long a rant here. I'm just going to get to the point real quick. Fun fact, little manipulation tactic. Focus the thing that you want people to focus on at the end of the sentence. So, you know, you're apologizing, put your apology on the end of the sentence. If you're a PlayStation fanboy and you want people to fucking not be offended by your PlayStation criticism, you got to put Xbox criticism at the end of the sentence. Anyways, moving on. So let's get to the cringiest comment I think I've ever read on YouTube in my entire life. This is fucking embarrassing. This is C. Brown here. Oh, Jesus Christ. I want to see Xbox straight up die. Few things I hate more than when companies blatantly lie to manipulate consumers and try to take advantage of their position and with pure greed, and then have those same consumers defend the company because they don't want the company that tried to use them fail. Let them fail. Xbox deserves to fail. And I hope that Xbox fails. Alright, my favorite part about this comment, the comic gold here, is then to have those same consumers, defend the company because they don't want that company that tried to use them fail. Says the PlayStation fanboy. Let's talk about the blatant lies that PlayStation does, that this total cringy, no-lifer, absolute pathetic excuse for a human being just completely doesn't care about. Alright, so, PlayStation VR 2. They said they were going to support it. June 21st, 2024. That's a while ago now, okay? That's a while ago. That is more than a year ago now. Again, just a question on a subreddit. This was locked. Who knows why it was locked? Maybe it was locked because there's too many threads. Maybe it was locked because the mods are fanboys and really offended because this subject was even discussed. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be surprising for Reddit in general. That is not like a comment on PlayStation fanboys necessarily. That's more of a comment on Reddit and how it's like a dumpster fire shithole. bunch of like you basically, if you understand psychology and like insecurity, you realize that like very few sane people with self-esteem are going to have any interest whatsoever in being a moderator that is unpaid on a website. That's like, you pretty much have to be, it's like almost exclusively an insecure person thing to want to do. Anyways, so yeah, they promise PlayStation 2 VR support. As this says, I don't know, I'm not going to go over when exactly it was released, but very little support. They said they were going to support it. They didn't. You know what? I was going to mention this at the end of the video. I'll mention this now. I couldn't find any relevant links because it's such an old story. But the PSP, over its basically all the PlayStation handhelds. I don't know about the Vita necessarily, but I do know about. This is true for like all the PSPs, where like they were exceptionally fantastic at emulating games and running emulators and like running them with like very good performance. And because of the small screen, you didn't have to have a high resolution. So again, fantastic performance out of these emulators on a PSP. And all these updates, they would say it's a stability update to improve performance and making the gaming experience better. It was literally just to make it just to remove the ability to hack it or emulate it or whatever on it. All that was a lie. All that was a lie. And that's what killed it for the PlayStation for me. Well, actually, what killed the PlayStation for me was all the people saying that Metal Gear Solid 4 was a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, so on and so forth, when, objectively speaking, Metal Gear Solid 4 is a 6 out of 10. That's a 6 out of 10 at best. At absolute best, there's the 6 out of 10. If you have to be in a specific group of people to even have a chance of enjoying a game, that is what 6 out of 10 is for. Okay, that's describing Metal Gear Solid 4, that's describing 6 out of 10s. If you describe that game, you're describing a 6 out of 10. Anyways, so that's why I don't buy PlayStation anymore, because of the PSP lives and Metal Gear Solid 4 being and apparently the best game ever made, even though it was less than dog shit. And don't even fucking get me started on the Uncharted franchise, like fucking third-person Call of Duty, that goddamn dog shit, fucking, and the cover system is so good, so much fun, dude, way better than Gears. Have you played Gears of War? Because I've played them both, and yeah, Gears is infinitely better, and I don't even think Gears is the greatest either. Gears 5 is like the only one that I would actually personally recommend, my opinion. I'm not really a big fan of the cover shooter in general, so I'm kind of biased there. So yeah, no PSVR 2 games. This is, again, June 2024. They've just dropped development. This is the VR. This is PS5 released in November 12th, 2020, and the VRR has been broken for fucking 5 years. The VRR has been broken for 5 fucking years. 5 years the VRR is broken. And they had no idea. This is the same company that has a PS5 Pro with no performance options. You can't choose like whether you want performance mode or like quality mode or anything like that. There's no options whatsoever on the PS5 Pro. The performance is literally worse than the PS5. And VRR is the worst upscaler on the market right now, objectively speaking. So this like weird ass mentality that like Sony is great and Mark Cerny knows what the fuck he's doing is hilarious to me. Hilarious. Mark Cerny is clearly incompetent. Out of all Nintendo, Xbox, Nvidia, AMD, whatever you want to call it, PlayStation is definitely on the bottom, okay, when it comes to understanding tech and putting out like quality technology, okay? Not even fucking close. Not close to Nintendo. Not close to Xbox. Doesn't even compare. Please. Fuck off. And remember when he said something about greed? What was he saying about greed? Oh, he's saying, oh yeah, pure greed. Pure greed. Pure greed. And then Epic CEO Tim Sweeney just confirmed that Sony is the only platform holder that requires Epic to pay compensation for crossplay. Epic had to agree to pay these additional fees to enable crossplay in Fortnite. Pure greed, Xbox is, though. What was he saying? What else was he saying about that? And then to have those same consumers defend the company because they don't want the company that tried to use them fail. The lack of self-awareness and the cringe here is unreal. So let's just go over. So they said they'd they'd support the PSVR 2. That's a lie. Updates for the stability updates for the PSP. This is something I was personally affected by that pissed me off personally. All bullshit. They said the PS5 Pro would run a locked 60 FPS in games where like the PS5 was running 30 FPS. Literally what they said. That's not even close to fucking true. The PS5 Pro can't even, it hits like a 55 FPS in games where the PS5 is hitting 60. So it's literally the opposite. The PS5 is the locked at 60 FPS system. They had no idea the PSVR is working. And just like a fun fact, just like you could actually look this up, the VR window, as in the frame rate window in which it is actually working, it drops out below 44 FPS on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. On Xbox, it is 40 FPS on the 60 mode, and if you switch it to 120 FPS, that's all the way down to 22 FPS that the VRR works. Meaning, no matter how badly your game runs on Xbox, if you put it in the 120 FPS mode, VRR will work and actually help out that frame rate. Guaranteed. There's no game on an Xbox or on a PlayStation 5 that's, well, I shouldn't say that. There's probably no big, well-known, popular games that run below 22 FPS on a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. But yeah. They said Concord was a good game. They were really excited about Concord. They thought that was going to be top tier shit. They were super invested in Concord. And they said it was going to release. They were going to do a full release. It was going to be great. That was literally everything I said there was a lie. All of that was a lie. None of that was quality, intelligent product. And people, and these fanboy losers, cringe lords like this kid, will criticize Xbox and defend PlayStation while either knowing this or pretending it doesn't exist. Oh yeah, and probably the most insane one that just like wasn't believable at all, and I unfortunately couldn't find evidence of this. Digital Foundry talked about it constantly right after launch, so I could go through like countless videos and provide their evidence of it. But Sony said right before the PlayStation 5 launch that there wouldn't be crossplay. It would be a next-gen only system. And this is an incredibly stupid lie to believe because just from a financial and logic perspective, it's best for any next-gen console to have crossplay so that there's like a transition period. It helps people like actually move over from the console, so like, oh well, at least I can play my favorite game that I have on such and such, instead of having that mentality of, oh, I have to buy this new console and I also have to buy new games. I have to buy new games for it. So yeah, anyways, long story short, the crossplay, the whole no crossplay thing and next gen only thing, that never happened with the PlayStation 5, and the fact that people fucking believe that was going to happen at launch was some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, I'm going to finish this video with talking about my favorite PlayStation 5 exclusives, or PlayStation exclusives in general. And this is not bullshit. I'm not trying to be a dick here, and I'm not trying to make anybody laugh or be fucking funny here. Here's my top 3 PlayStation exclusives. Number 3, Yakuza. It's crossplay now. You can play that on Xbox. You can play that everywhere. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid. That one has been crossplay for a while now. Yeah, you can play Metal Gear Solid on Xbox, on PlayStation, everywhere. Doesn't matter. And my number one favorite PlayStation exclusive franchise, the best one in the world, Grand Theft Auto. So this idea that It's so funny to me, man, when people are like, "Oh man, Xbox lost all these exclusives to PlayStation." It's like this is literally why I have no interest in PlayStation. Like once I remember during the Xbox generation, it was like as soon as that Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City collection came out on the original Xbox, for me it was like pretty much done for PlayStation. It was pretty much game over. And then of course there's the exclusive Metal Gear Solid 4, which everybody said was like the best game ever made, and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I had a lot of fun with the PSP and the games on the PSP, the Metal Gear Solid games on the PSP. So I was like, okay, I'll give this company another shot, and they screwed me again. So yeah, that's why I don't buy PlayStation products. That's why PlayStation VR or PlayStation in general is just like cringy. I don't trust any of that garbage. And the fact that people are even excited for the PlayStation 6 when they've fucked up the PlayStation 5 Pro so badly is a mindfuck to me. Anyways, that's the video. Sorry I went on for so long. I just had to. That was like the funniest fucking comment I've ever seen in my entire life. That was gold. Anyways, thanks for watching.